My name's Claire. I've suffered from ADHD and a few other issues while I was growing up. I've always been bullied, and I just did not have the best upcoming. However, I found the absolute love of my life, who just made everything I did feel more complete. I can trust him. He's always there for me. He cooks me breakfast in bed. I mean, come on. So, what I did not expect was my sister, who tried to weasel her way into my life just to get close to my husband because, and I quote, she thinks that he's hot.
Hey everyone, I'm sharing this story here with all the people out there to get your response on this very happening of mine that had gotten me a flashback of all the mental abuse that I went through in my childhood. My own sister proved yet again that she's the real villain of my life, but this time her mistakes are far from forgiven. Now, I could not handle the trauma that this all caused me, plus my condition is even getting worse due to my mental earlier condition that's striking me all over again. Let me begin this story here by giving you a full foreground to the whole incident that brought me here. I'm 25 and female, shared quite an awful relationship with my older sister Nova, who's 28. Ever since I could recall, she was always this intelligent and well-known among the other kids in our neighborhood, and in addition, she was also quite popular in our school as well. My elder sister had every quality of being the perfect kid that any parent would desire, yet she always complained about me not getting the attention in our house, which she pretty much deserved. It was somewhat due to the mental condition that helped me grab the attention of my parents and the hatred of my sister and her friends altogether. In spite of her being so well behaved in front of the other children, she was always so cruel towards me for the same reason. The real cause for all this such mixed response was my medical condition. I guess pretty much. I had a condition called ADHD in my childhood where I found it difficult to focus or concentrate on various stuff in general. It made me go dumb in front of the teachers and other kids in the class most of the time. This is the same reason why they made fun of me and beat me up in school by calling out me names such as dumb, fathead, meathead, you name it. Things were not so well for me outside the school as well, because Nova and her friends used to replace those kids outside of there. They would refuse to play with me for that reason that I was not as smart or intelligent as Nova, which I'm pretty much sure was entrusted by her itself. I still remember how my mother, Hazel, used to come to my rescue when these kids would make fun of me and call me by different names. She would buy me toys and make me favorite apple pancakes for lunch, and all this troubled Nova a lot, as she felt excluded from all this care and gratitude. So, she would later on get this on by me being beaten when we were all alone in our home. Sometimes she would call out her friends to our home on holidays, making it worse for me to stay there as they would repeat my surreal actions, trying to mimic the way I responded due to the ongoing mental disorder. It would be all planned by Nova beforehand in an all of making me angry. They would spend the whole day inside my room that both I and Nova shared upstairs. So I would go to Hazel, who would read me stories of fairy tales and princesses. There was this one time when Nova and her friends locked me inside our basement and went outside for playing with the other kids. I was obnoxious about being in the dark for so long and exhausted soon enough. It was after some time that I was rescued from the basement by Albert, who went out there to collect some things from his truck. Still, that fear of being in the dark basement all alone haunts me from going in the dark. I was so behind to the other students in my class in age and in terms of studying and other activities, as I could not get along with the concept and ideas being taught in class. It was because I was granted special consideration in academics due to my unfolding medical condition that I managed to clear much of my junior high school. Apart from having difficulty understanding things clearly, I also had behavioral attacks, such as getting angry, hyperactive, and dull from time to time. It could be one of the reasons that I did not have any friends in my class throughout middle and junior high. The other reason being their constant bullying of me. Though my condition got better with age, and as I went to high school and college, all the symptoms and attacks diminished altogether. I finally got rid of this condition that has pretty much destroyed most of my childhood and made me prone to Nova and her friends' abuse. I made a few friends during my college days that were possibly the only friends that I came to own in this lifetime. Of them, one is Kevin, 27 years old, who was a senior to me in college, yet the bond was shared was something different. It was other than my mom, where I found this comfort of warmth to share all my feelings and discomfort with. He would be all ears to all my sayings and problems that I shared with him, and react in a very gentle manner with the acquired solution for it. There was something in him that reminded me of Hazel's solace, which was my only rehab from all the torment that I received from Nova and other kids back then. Later, he finished college to secure a career as a manager in one of the automobile companies in our city. Whilst I was the one who dated only one single guy, whom I finally married about 6 months ago, it turns out Nova was a genius at making dates with guys in high school and college. To my comfort, we did not share our high school and college together, and she was about 5 years older than me, which made it possible for me to get out of her sight for a while. We fairly met each other, except for the family functions and just Christmas celebrations that were held at our home. It was at one of the Christmas celebrations where all of our cousins were gathered together in our room. She disclosed to the relative number of relationships she's been involved in from high school, and get this, it turns out that it was somewhere between 150 or so. And to her pleasure, I did not even have a fair doubt that she was lying about that, because she was really so good at making others feel her charm and glamour, which she carried around like a performer. I didn't even have a hint of the idea that this would all one day be used against me. After about a year of dating, I finally proposed to him to marry me and be my soul bearer for the rest of my life. I had graduated from college and got a steady job as the receptionist in a reputed fashion store. It was then that I began to muster all my life together. Kevin was my life and the only guy about whom I ever cared for. At first, he was quite shocked, as he had not expected such action from me, who was all careful in sharing her thoughts with people, but as I mentioned earlier, Kevin was really different from me. It was like I've known him for years. He right away accepted my appeal, and we had a fabulous wedding ceremony at one of our nearby churches. There were just some friends from his side whom we both shared over the years, and on my side it was just my parents and Nova. She was there with this young guy, whom she had met about a month ago, and they were together since then. It was probably the longest that she had been in a relationship with. As usual, this took away the attention of everyone present there with her surreal enchantment and beauty. Needless to say, she was a way better good-looking than me and any of our cousins. It was as if it was her boon to have the attention of everyone around her. There was no one in the hall who was not allured by her spell there. Even Kevin gazed in awe at seeing her at the first instant. This time there was some difference in her attitude, which I sensed quite early. After being with her for so long, I came to know afterward from Hazel that she also wanted to marry and settle at this point in time. I guessed it had something to do with my marriage, as she has always been jealous of me having all that she really wanted. Though this time, her intentions were just limited to herself, without causing any trouble for me, so generally I did not have any hard feelings for her. After marriage, we went to this small island near the Balkan group of islands, and oh gosh, the scene there was absolutely breathtaking. Our 4-day stay was no less than some fantasy dream that we're most likely to see in the movies. Plus, the company of Kevin with me even elevated the whole experience to a new level. After our return, We both got engaged in our work, but we somehow managed to get time for dinner and lunch in a similar manner, as we used to do before getting married. And I've not had symptoms of effects of my earlier mental condition ever since my high school, where I had just minimal effects and anxiety, thus making them disappear over time. It seemed as if it was certainly the best time of my life and everything around me was getting back to normal. One night, I was just relaxing on my own when Mom called me to inform me that Nova had broken up with her boyfriend, or it would be correct to say that her boyfriend has broken ties with her after getting fed up with her demands and awful behavior. I guessed this could have been the reason why she could not get along with her other boyfriends, whom she had dated earlier, though it came around that she was asking her boyfriends to get her on a trip to some island just like the ones that I went along with Kevin. I knew that she always deemed herself to be the owner of every possible response that I got from my parents, but I would not have thought that she would risk such a good relationship with this nice guy over such useless things. I mean, come on, who would do that? I was walking across this coffee shop, situated below my fashion store, when I got sight of Nova's boyfriend sitting all alone at one of the tables. He looked a bit tense, so I went ahead to check on him. It was after I talked with him over this whole issue that he disclosed to me that Nova has been really strange with him after our marriage ceremony. She would ask to marry her right away in a lavish setting that would outshine mine. Apart from that, she also demanded from him a glooming wedding gown, just like the one I wore at my wedding and the respective jewelry that I received from Kevin. All this made it clear that Nova has not outlived that feeling of wanting every single gift and other stuff that I owned. She's always been this mindful of every single gift that I've received from my parents in response to the abuse that she and the other children would cause me. Moreover, she would often complain to our parents about the care and love that they offered me in response to my mental condition. All these feelings would make her even more cruel towards me. I felt bad for Nova's boyfriend, who has to go through all her unusual behavior from her side. I found it really hard to believe that Nova has not changed after so many years and that it is all just coming up once again. Her boyfriend told me that he could not really afford all of her demands as he went through financial turmoil in his life just a year prior. He lost his job, and every saying that he had during the pandemics was gone. It was after that he joined this job in a marketing firm that his life seemed to be coming back to track. It wasn't until she asked for a visit to the island, just like the one that I and Kevin have went on, to this whole thing about their relationship coming apart. Her boyfriend has already had so much of her and could not take it any longer. It was at this moment that he told this thing about me that made her so mad at him, and after that she could not be contained. He said that she is selfish and demanding all the time and that I'm far better than her in every aspect of the relationship. Moreover, he said that she should learn from me how to develop and maintain a relationship. All his sayings acted like fire to the fuel that was already raging. What happened afterward was far from what anyone could imagine. She started attacking her boyfriend with verbal abuse about her lacking a relationship, and even threatened him to file a complaint against her for physical abuse. I cannot have believed that Nova can go this far with her selfishness and resentful nature. After returning from the job, I confronted the overall detail of the whole incident to Hazel, who assured me that she would talk with Nova about this. I too tried convincing them that she needs all of our support for getting back to the normal stage. Without knowing that she was about to deal a real blow to my happy life, we all came together at my parents' house, where my parents were celebrating their anniversary and had invited us all to be there. As I was busy talking with my cousins and chit-chatting, Nova tried to get along with Kevin, at which she did not even have a rare discomfort. It was as if in her blood to easily allure people into her surrealness. From the far as I could see, they both were talking about some common topics in general, and they both seemed to be getting along quite well with each other. I was quite relieved that Nova has forgotten about her breakup and was not upset about which, well, for her was quite normal. As we were getting back from the party, I asked Kevin about the impression that he has on Nova, to which he answered that he could not believe at all why would someone leave such a nice girl like Nova alone in a relationship and that he would have been some fool to do so. At this, I silently said in my mind that he was not a fool to break up with her. On the contraire, he was a fool for being with her for so long. I did not have a clue that Kevin could fall into the trap of Nova just like that. It was a week of coming from my parents from the party when I was visited at my house by Nova. It was after so long that I have seen her approach me like this, as if she wanted some help from me. There was something different in her eyes, though, that reflected gentle and care towards me. I have not seen her like this in my entire life, and was a bit perplexed. She behaved all so well in a manner that she used to behave in front of the boys. I could not recognize her real motive behind all these things, and thought that she might have changed somewhat after having a breakup. I was getting late for the office, so I left her alone for a while, and Kevin was also preparing to leave for his office then. After 2 days, I have to leave for the other city because of some fashion contest being organized by our fashion store out there. It was then that the unexpected happened. It turned out Kevin and Nova had gotten a bit too far in their conquest. All these days he's been building up on him to get the right chance to seduce into her charm. And when she got that, I'll be away for some days, and she instantly just snatched this opportunity and went ahead to execute her plan. As soon as I left for the flight to the other city, she took the chance to get into my house all alone with Kevin. It was good that I missed my flight due to some reason I won't talk about, and there was no other flight to the location until the evening, so I strolled back home from the airport. Throughout the way, I was thinking of going to some place with Kevin, enjoying the day together, irrespective of the fact that there was someone who was trying to replace me. As I reached home, I went straight inside the hall just to surprise Kevin with my too early return. I don't know, thinking about giving him a surprise, who knew that a real shock was awaiting me? I opened up the door to find that Nova was lying on Kevin in a ridiculous manner that I could not have imagined in my wildest dreams, and Kevin was trying his best to hold her there in that position. It made me tremble. After seeing my happy relationship being destroyed by Nova altogether, it was instantly when I was hit by an anxiety attack, restraining me from thinking of doing anything, and I was unable to find any rightful reaction for this whole situation. It was as if that earlier mental condition has struck me again, forcing me to not concentrate or think of anything. I only had this one thought in my mind, that my happy relationship is being ruined by Nova, and I was thinking of it again and again. What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. So Nova turns out to be a nightmare. Well, I do have 2 updates for you guys, and strap yourself in because we're about to get a lot of answers. If you guys are new to the channel, just take a second, hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying today's video, as it does help support the channel a lot. Alright, here is your first update. In a moment, I was left deserted by my husband, whom I had regarded as my true forebearer. It was after so many years that I found someone after Hazel, whom I could trust with all my feelings and emotions, and now I was standing at the same spot in my life where I was when I was younger. This time, too, the reason for all my troubles was Nova. I mustered up all my courage and right away went to Hazel, who was always there to relieve me from everything that troubled me altogether. As I went there, I told her about all the things that I saw over at my house going on between Nova and Kevin. She lost her senses at the first instance to hear that the older daughter could get this much creepiness in the life. It made me think once if I did the right thing telling Hazel all about this, as she went numb for a while and just gazed in disgust over Nova, that she wreaked misery and a bad name all over our family. After it, she called Nova and asked her to bring along Kevin, telling her that she knows about them. Nova went silent for a while and then said in a discerning tone that she did not understand what she said. To this, Hazel replied in a raising tone that you clearly heard what I've said, and I meant every single word. I've not seen Hazel this angry in all my life, to be honest, even not the time when Nova and her husband left me alone in our basement, where I frowned after some time of staying all alone in the dark. Both of them arrived by car within an hour, and Kevin was standing at the corner, and he could not muster the courage to stand and meet me in my eyes, and Nova, on the other hand, was standing as if she was doing nothing wrong. She stood like that for the time being after Hazel confronted her about the whole issue, and there was not a slight disdain in her eyes for all that she's caused in this hour. It was Kevin who stood in front to talk about the whole issue that has led us to this point in time. There, he told everybody present that there he had met Nova a week before my parents' wedding anniversary, and that she seemed so good to talk with about a number of social and sport issues. So he developed a good bond with her. Afterward, she would come to our house some days ago to meet with me for some personal reasons, but as I left, she stood there with him talking about the surreal issues going around in the United States and all what's not. It was right then that she asked for his phone number, just to contact him in case of an emergency, which he provided right away, without knowing that she would message him every day with some creepy text message or image, seducing him into getting into a relationship. Well, to be honest, he was tired of receiving her messages and could not decide what to do with her at the moment. He tried ignoring her messages, but she called him on his cell phone to get engaged with her all too real. It was after I left that she grabbed the chance of him being alone and caught him there. He said that she started behaving abnormally after that, making all sorts of physical appeals towards him, and he tried his best to get away from her, but she would not let it happen. And she said that it would have been one such sight where I would have seen them and thought it all differently. I was pretty much convinced by this reply, as I have known Nova far too long, and the incident that I heard from her boyfriend even clarified this account to a certain extent. Also, the look on her face after Kevin explained the turn of events revealed her true intentions over the situation. Even my mother was convinced of Kevin's testament, as she too knew how wicked Nova is. Thereafter, she forced Nova to leave our house and never return again. Albert, who was standing right there, did not show a grin of disdain for her. Update number 2. A week has passed. Hey guys, a week has passed since that whole Nova thing, and I was leaving for my office when I got a hold of our neighbor, who always is spreading news of mischief and cheating to other people around the local news. As I approached her, she halted from saying this new daily gossip chronicle of hers. It was after much persuasion from my side that she disclosed this rumor that's been going around like wildfire about Kevin and our area. It was that Kevin was caught red-handed by her wife while cheating with some random girl. And this other girl has all the proof of this act, which she's uploaded onto the internet. This news shocked me to the very core, and I was not able to withstand this. How could this all be true? I had full confidence in Kevin, and I knew that he would not do such a thing, especially after this Nova incident. I instantly approached him inside our home, and he was about to leave for his workday. He was shaken to the ground after hearing this, and he was not able to recall any such encounter with a girl. So, he talked to his lawyer just to get a hold of the whole situation, and he filed a defamation case against the person who's spreading such false rumors against Kevin. It took 2 days. 2 days after we appeared in court for the hearing of our case, and there we came to know that it was Nova who was behind all these rumors spreading. And did I think that? How come? Someone is so much resilient in ruining my life altogether. Though I was not shocked by her doing it, as I know how low she could possibly get to hurt me. The police have arrested her on behalf of the video and images that she uploaded from different accounts on social media, traced by her IP address. The case was clearly against her, and she had no way of escaping the punishment that was to be bestowed upon her. Yet she behaved in quite an unusual manner when the judge asked her the reason why she has done such a thing. Instead, she said that she has not done anything wrong, Your Honor. Well, it was me who has always been responsible for her problems. She began shouting her optimal potential that it was just me who should be punished for absolutely ruining her life. The judge was ridiculed for her surreal answer and even ignored the call to settle this dispute in compensation to her attorney. Nova was sentenced to a year in jail for her respective actions of defaming Kevin. The court also issued a restraining order against her, barring her from entering our premises and even roaming around our local area after being released from prison. It's now that this chapter of Nova is finally over, and I would have never thought that my sister's hatred towards me would lead to such a discerning end. Moreover, I have not expected that our family feud would cost Kevin his self-respect and admiration in public. Nova would have lived a happy life if she would have restrained all demeaning thoughts in her mind and been satisfied with what her life has given her.
So, the couple of good things that came about this story was the fact that Nova, well, at the end of it, she got some well-deserved karma. A lot of the commenters, though, not a lot, maybe 25% of what I read, and I read quite a few, they were saying, hey, I don't really agree that Nova should have gone to jail for this. I mean, maybe fined, maybe some other form of penalty, but a year in prison is pretty harsh, and that's going to be on her record forever. But most of the other commenters were saying, oh no, she definitely deserved this, and she probably deserved even longer. So guys, I just want to know from you exactly what you think about this, and if you were Claire, if you were in Claire's position, how would you have handled your sister? Drop your thoughts right down below in the comment section. I hope you guys enjoyed today's story. If you're new to the channel, my name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories every single day. So stop by tomorrow, see what we're up to. I'll see you guys then, and just remember, you never know what someone's going through in life, so it's cool to be kind. See ya.